Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome to Russ Can't Fly. Time to get it! Okay, so before I get started and get over to the airport, handle my business, I got the check ride on my mind, baby. Yeah, check ride time. I can't believe it, or at least it's getting closer. And the thought of it is just really crazy. So, but at any rate, want to give some subscriber shout outs and some quick shout outs to some other people. But some quick subscriber shout outs to Mark Harris, Quissy K, and yes, Radho. That's the name of the channel. What can I say? So Mark Harris, Quissy K, Radho, and I want to give a special shout out to SD Falchetti and T Muskie 1. SD Falchetti and T Muskie 1. I think you guys are starting your own journeys. I want to wish you luck. Please reach out to me early and often if you have any questions. It's a fantastic journey, and I thank you for joining me on mine and the other subscribers who have subscribed to the channel. It really means a lot to me. It really, really does. All right, let's get to the airport. Let's get busy. Wingsfield, Cessna 53340, taxiing from the upper ramp for runway 6, wings. So at every flight, it seems like now I just have my check ride on my mind. I mean, that's the first thing I think about when I get in the plane. It's the last thing I think about when I get out of the plane. And you know, it's really hard for me to get my mind around that at some point I'm going to be sitting in the cockpit with some stranger who is going to determine whether or not I am going to be able to qualify for a pilot's license. And I gotta tell you, just thinking about that makes me a bundle of nerves. But I will say that, you know, a lot of these flights that you'll see now is my CFI getting me comfortable with the Airman Certification Standards, or the ACS standards, for my flight maneuvers. So I thought I would share some of that with you, so that you can see and hear what he's saying to me in terms of making sure I'm doing the maneuvers. And you're going to see one of the maneuvers that I absolutely hate to do. All right, let's get into it.
And actually, in this direction, we're actually going perfectly downwind too.
Yeah.
So it'd be perfect to enter like that.
All right, 666. Heels to the floor, full power. All right. Engine instruments in the green, oil temp, oil pressure, all look good. Airspeed is alive. And rotate. So as I take off from Wingsfield, I'm going to the practice area to do maneuvers. And you've seen these before, but now what I'm doing is I'm not just doing the maneuvers like steep bank turns, slow flight. I'm actually trying to do it within certain parameters. That's the key for the check ride. So I'm trying to hit the parameters. Wings traffic, Cessna 53340, turning out to the north, last call, wings.
Yeah, we're right with all these. You want me to
Traffic order 3 Alpha is
700 feet to 1,000 AGL.
Okay.
100 knots. You want to keep your airspeed plus or minus 10, altitude plus or minus 100. And you want to enter on the downwind.
Okay.
Right? This is actually the downwind right now. We're on the downwind, so it's perfect. 7,800 is a good number to keep for the altitude.
Upfield traffic, Archer 337 Golf on final from runway 11.
So you see over there, like
traffic.
11 o'clock, maybe there's like a fin sticking out of the ground in like a green field. Like to 11 o'clock there a little bit.
Yeah.
Why did do it around that thing?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first maneuver we're about to do for my non-pilot peeps is a turn around a point. So basically, what my CFI wants me to do is to fly to that fin-looking thing sticking out of the ground, which at the time I think I kind of saw. I didn't see it until I got closer, full disclosure. But basically what happens is you're basically circling around a point on the ground. So just imagine, I don't know, a feed silo or a specific building. you basically pick a spot and you fly circles around it. And there's certain parameters that you have to keep as you're flying around that, that point. So that's the first maneuver we're about to do.
What I was talking about.
Yeah, that thing sticking up right there?
Yep.
Looks like a silo or something.
Looks like a silo, yeah.
So right out the front window there, that's the target. So it's like this little pointy thing. It looks like a silo, but yeah, that was my place where I was going to turn around the point. So as I was coming abeam, I basically wanted to keep my wing on the point. Didn't want my wing to get too far forward. Didn't want it to get too far behind. And this turn around a point wasn't too difficult. The only thing is you have to be mindful of the way the wind's blowing. Oh, see, there it is, right there out the window. See, near the camera. Anyway, I got distracted. So, but at any rate, so I want to keep my wing right on that silo right there. And when you're going downwind or with the wind, the plane basically flies a little different than you're going crosswind or if you're going upwind. And so you have to account for all of those forces. And I didn't do too bad a job. I kept the wing for the most part on the point. The other thing I have to be mindful of is my altitude and my airspeed. And that's very important because if I get too low or get too high, that could be something that goes against me on the check ride. And I will say this is one of those times where I wish I had a camera out on the wing so you could get a better perspective. I mean, you can see the buildings out there as I'm doing this turn around the point. And really, that camera that's right there, it should be staying in a pretty consistent spot. And as you can see, it's kind of going back and forth, back and forth. I mean, ideally, it should be hidden behind the camera at all times. Like this, no, see, too far forward, nope, no. See, so that's the thing. You got to keep it consistent. So the camera is a good measure of where I should be on that silo. And so I think as it gets obscured by the camera, that's where it should be. That's perfect right there. And a little bit forward. So that's the thing that makes this maneuver a little difficult because you have to account for the wind and so you got to be mindful of keeping your wing on that spot, but also being mindful of your airspeed and your altitude. So that's the turn around at point. So we did a bunch of those. I got better as time went on, and it was just a feel thing. But this is one of the classic check ride maneuvers. All right, let's get to some of the others.
That one was a lot better. You felt that one?
Yeah,
was
I felt that a lot better, yeah.
Just looking out for the altitude, all right?
Yeah,
Let's go out this way and then come back.
Okay.
Go out that way a little bit, and then we'll come back, go down to 1,700 again.
Okay.
And we'll do S-turns around the highway here.
Okay.
The downwind is kind of going in this direction anyways. Look at the steep over there.
Yeah, I see that.
Like going this way kind of, but close enough. Alright, you can head back around, turn back towards it now.
Start the traffic, Cherokee 315, straight left downwind 12, where's that?
Alright, so the idea here is I want to keep that wing on the highway as I'm making my turn, correct?
Actually, right? And when you're on the downwind portion, you want to start steeper and then shallow it out when you're going along. Start staying with the wind, so the wind is coming kind of like this way a little bit.
Rossville traffic, Archer 337 Golf, upwind runway 11, Rossville traffic.
Right now, when you'll be pushed down a little further, so you want to start the first turn a little steeper, shallow it out as you get more into it. It's not going to perfect downwind, so it's not going to work out perfectly. Just keep that wing on the road, and you should be good.
Okay.
Crossing each time over, the wings level.
Wings level, okay.
Not like wings level for a little bit, like right as you're crossing over wings level.
Okay.
S-turns are exactly the way they sound. You're basically turning in S-like patterns over a point. And so what I'm doing in my S-turns is we're turning S-turns one direction and then back the other way over the turnpike. I never knew in my life that I would be using the turnpike in any other way other than to go back and forth between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. But it made for a great place to do my S-turns. And as you can see out the window here, I'm trying to keep my wing on the road as I make this left-hand turn. Then I turn over the road, bring the wings level, and then I will turn back the other way. And I did that for a series. And again, there are parameters that I have to meet in terms of making sure that I don't lose altitude, I don't lose speed. But the other thing that's kind of interesting about S-turns is, so you have to account for the wind. You want the S-turns to have consistent like loops in the S. You don't want them to be too long or too shallow, too sharp, you know, that kind of thing. And so you really have to account for the wind. And I will say, as it relates to S-turns, I didn't do too bad. The only thing is I have to watch my speed. A couple times I got a little slow.
There's a traffic church 31 Fox, final 12,
Probably a little too early of a turn there. Well, actually not bad.
Okay, so after we did some S-turns, we got to some other maneuvers. Steep turns and stalls. I'm going to save the best for last. Power on stalls. Hate those daggone things. Anyway, I'll save that for... I hate those things. But anyway, do some steep turns, do our power off, and then power on.
Okay, so this reservoir here. Near steep turn.
A mile southeast transition.
3,500.
Alright, 3,500. My nemesis. To the right.
Alrighty.
Alright, so steep bank turns are interesting. So I'm using the reservoir there to the front as my starting point. And so I'm turning 360 degrees and I should land back at the reservoir. Now here's the thing. I should be keeping the space between the cowling and the horizon. And it should stay consistent, that space between the two. The problem I have is that I always have this habit of when I first start to the right, pulling back on the yoke and bringing the nose up too high. I can't ascend or descend more than 100 feet, and I always go too high when I go to the right. And there's the reservoir again. So that's what I need to, get my act together there. All right, so now I'm going to the left. Let's see how I do.
More bank.
White Warriors, 6 miles.
Alright, 3,600, take your time here.
Did another set of those turns, and I did a little bit better. The most important thing is I have to make sure I maintain 45 degrees of bank, and I can't go plus or minus 100 feet of altitude loss or gain. And I have to make sure that I maintain my speed as well. So like I said, when I go to the right, I have this tendency to it's almost like a reflex. I pull up on the yoke. I guess I'm anticipating the nose drop as the G-forces kind of increase, and I'm already kind of like 50 feet above my altitude. And then once the G-forces kick in, I pull up too much, and next thing you know, I'm 150 feet above. So just gotta, wait for the nose to begin to drop before I anticipate that. But the steep bank turns, not really a big deal. They used to be tough for me, but I think I'm much more comfortable and ready to be tested on those. All right, stalls time.
Alright, you feel comfortable with this?
Yeah.
Feels good.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yep.
let's do a power off stall.
Power off stall.
Number set traffic,
All right.
Cherokee is station
So
final
I'm gonna
12
come down
suspect.
to 3600
Okay.
and
Wings traffic, Skyhawk 901, Quebec Sierra, left downwind to base, runway 6, wings traffic. And wing traffic, 74 Victor, on downwind to beam at 24 numbers, on down to runway 6, full stop wings. Departing traffic inside for wing traffic.
start your flaps up.
I'm gonna get your full power in.
Alright, looking for 65 and a positive rate. 60, 70, positive rate. Flaps up.
Good. Alright, level off here.
Okay, so that's a good old-fashioned power off stall. So as you saw there, you heard the stall warning horn screaming, meaning that a stall was imminent. I felt some buffeting, especially in the yoke. And then after a while, you saw the nose drop down. That means that the wing stalled, and it was all about recovery, and that's the whole key. And so once the nose dropped down, I'm supposed to go to full power, first notch of flaps up, look for a positive rate of climb, so that way I can take the rest of the flaps out. And again, stalls are all about recovery. So there, I don't want to lose more than 100 feet of altitude before I recover. Power off stalls, no big deal. I can do those in my sleep. All right, these daggone power on stalls. Hate these joints, yo. All right, let's get to it.
Alright, power on stall. Here we go. Full power.
Roll. Roll above us.
Traffic, Mooney 7874 Victor, turning final, runway 6 west.
The opposite, right?
Yeah.
The opposite of it.
Yeah.
You don't want to take the power out.
I hate that. I just.
You're good. You're
Okay.
good. Here, let's turn towards the steam stacks again.
Okay.
Level turn, bring your power back. Slow it down, keep it slow. Because we gotta try it again, right? As much as you hate it.
Oh, I hate that. I just hate that wing drop.
Here, let me see it.
Ah. Damn power on stall.
Yo, real talk, I really hate these things. I do.
So let's try it one more time.
Okay.
Power back. Go, just go idle. Down. Watch your rudder, right? Watch. Don't try and correct that little drop. Just first reduce the angle of attack to get out of the stall, and then you can correct it.
Okay.
Go first. Start a climb. Now start climb. Climb out.
Alright.
Climb. Alright, makes sense. Keeping those wings level still. Sense? That makes sense to you?
Yeah,
now?
that makes sense. Yeah, I was panicking. Like, you know, that that just
This is
really
where it
freaks
is.
me out.
It has to do. Even I'm not good at stopping that from happening. Let's turn back to the turnpike, descend down to 3,000 feet.
The bottom line is I just don't like those things. I mean, I just do not like power on stalls. They freak me out. That wing drop, the whole sight picture, the whole 9 yards. So anyway, but that's a maneuver that I've got to get straight. So I gotta get my mind right so that I can do that power on stall because it's part of the check ride. So at any rate, so those are the maneuvers. You will probably see this a couple times until it's time for me to take my check ride, because these are the bread and butter. These are the make or breaks. So all right, let's go ahead and land this puppy and call it a lesson.
Wings traffic, Cessna 53340, turning final for runway 6, wings. Overshoot. Last notch of flaps.
Good. Keep it back pressure in. Honestly, when you're doing this on an actual check ride, you don't need to. We'll brake here.
Okay.
But if you're like about to miss this, doesn't matter. Just go all the way down.
Okay.
Keeping the pressure off the nose wheel.
Gotcha.
But you're still on the grass and stuff like that, or sand, or whatever it is, on the runway, right?
Right.
The pressure off the nose. Good though.
Thank you.
Whew, okay, so every lesson is a good one. I learned something new, but I can't believe it. I mean, check ride maneuvers and thinking about doing my check ride and actually getting my license. You know, when I first started this journey, the idea of it seemed like an impossibility. And now that it's becoming closer, it's exciting and nerve-wracking. I mean, it's crazy. So, but as you can see, power on stalls, do not like them, period, full stop, end of discussion. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. I hate them joints. Anyway, take care. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you have not subscribed to the channel, I would ask that you do so. It really means a lot to me, and it does. I feel the support. And it has really sustained me through these many months of this fantastic journey. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. And if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up on the video. That helps as well. All right, Russ Kid, Russ Can Fly. I'm out. See ya.